Doing a night review on the Toyota Crown sedan. In Japan they call this a crossover, but in Japan they also have the real sedan, rear wheel drive, front engine. This is, well, it's a front engine, front wheel drive base, but it does have all wheel drive standard. Most of the power going to the front wheels, as we'll find out when we start driving here at night. But on these night reviews, I don't focus too much about the overall review. Go ahead and check out my normal review of it. I focus a little bit more on the illumination. What are the exterior lights like? What are the turn indicators like? What are the rear lights like? What are some of the highlights of the interior with the cool lights that we have going on in there? All right. So starting with the front end here, these front lights are unique to the Limited and the Platinum. We have the Platinum here, obviously the two-tone. Now these headlights are kind of Lexus-like, the triple beam. Let's see if I can, there we go. You see the triple beams there, and the beam right in the middle, the really fat one, that's your high beams, okay? So let's go ahead and back that out. Now you see that bar in the middle. I believe in other markets that's actually used for illumination. This piece right here that goes across, it looks like it should be a light, but I don't see any illumination coming from it, at least in our market. Now, illumination and headlight luminosity, I don't know what the right words are. It is different market per market. So in Japan, it's probably legal to have that extra light coming from there. Here, seemingly it is not. Of course, you have the Toyota badge here on the Toyota Crown. In Japan market, that Toyota badge is replaced with, of course, the Crown badge, which I would much rather have here to make this vehicle seem even more unique. Now, it's got a lot of uniqueness. We got 21-inch wheels here. You can get 21-inch wheels on the new Nightshade for 2025. You can get the 21-inch wheels on the advanced tech package, or whatever it's called, technology package, on the Limited grade. On the base grade and the Limited grade comes standard with 19-inch wheels, okay? Now I mentioned that the XLE comes with different headlights. They're more of a bi-LED headlight setup compared to the triple beam, or you can even say quad beam setup we have here. We have a light bar in the back, and the light bar is pretty simple. Obviously, it's just a straight line that goes across, bisected by the Toyota badge. And then when you turn the turn indicators on, it's just a small light underneath on the corner. Okay, so nothing crazy there. Of course, you got lots of badges back here. You have Crown, you have Platinum, you also have the Hybrid Max and Beyond Zero logo. It is a 2.4 turbo hybrid with 2 electric motors, one in the front, one in the rear, and it produces 340 horsepower and 400 pound-feet of torque. All right, 360 camera here. And notice we have these illuminated reflectors on the front. In the front's amber, in the back it's this red color. All right, so let's go and get in the back seat. Let's see what kind of illumination we have. Now, I took my kids to school in this all week, but let's go ahead and close this. Heated outboard seat button is illuminated, window button is illuminated, and then we have floorboards being illuminated. You also have your USB-Cs, okay? Now we also have these nice bright lights back here for your reading, one on each side. And of course, this model comes standard with the pano roof, all right? But that's about it for back here. So let's go and pop into the front seat. Oh, I will say, it's not about it. You actually have some illumination in the door handle. All right, so gotta have that. And then another observation at night, when the car's off and you walk up to the car, you get illumination in the front door handle, but not the rear door handle. All right, so let's go ahead and get on the inside of the front. We're gonna have some more, should have some more things to talk about here compared to the back seat. Okay, door handle, obviously illuminated. Window switches, auto folding mirrors, all that's illuminated. Now here's a difference between this and the Crown Signia that I was in last week. Crown Signia has a headlight adjustment up and down here, which I wish this had. The cars are so similar on the inside, but there are some small differences, like having headlight height adjustment. Okay, illumination for the MID behind the steering wheel, and then down below we have your trunk lid open as well as your fuel tank. All right. Also for 2025, The manual steering wheel adjustment is now standard electronic. Watch my general review of the Crown Signia that I just did. Sorry, the normal Crown. This Crown, the sedan. Watch my review on it because I go over all the changes from 24 to 25. All right, like this model gets rear wheel steering for 2025 as well. Here's your 12-inch screen. It is customizable. I like having my fuel economy on the left. Go and check out my fuel economy test on this vehicle. I was quite impressed. And on the right, you have your hybrid energy monitor, which is quite great. This is super annoying. I've talked about this ad nauseum. Proactive driving assist / traffic jam assist / reading your eyeballs to nanny you. You can disable it, at least the chimes to disable it, which is helpful. However, the front cross traffic alert, which I do not like in this vehicle, it seems like every time I disable it, it turns back on when I start the car up. So that has been one big annoyance on this vehicle. 12-inch screen is also standard across the lineup. The volume knob here is illuminated. All your climate control here, of course, illuminated quite nicely. I have my heated seats on and the heated steering wheel on, which work extremely well. All right, moving down below, you can see a couple USB-Cs illuminated there. You have self-parking and your 360 camera. I can pull up 360 camera for you. It should work quite well here because this parking lot, as you guys can see, is very well illuminated. Drive select is illuminated, drive mode, auto brake hold, traction control, all that stuff. All right. 360 camera is done doing its silly animation, but really you just put it in reverse. That's going to show you your top down as well as your reverse camera. Both of them pretty high resolution. No lighting on the dash, a little bit of lighting in the footwells, and of course there's lighting on the door handles. I think I mentioned that already, but pretty simple, and there's no way to customize the lighting in here, I don't believe. If I go to the menus here, I'll just go to Toyota. That's the only way to get out of it. And then we'll go to the cog here, and then we'll go to vehicle customize, and then we go to illumination, and it's just brightness, right? I can turn this all the way down, and that light down there you can't see anymore. Turn it all the way up. There you go, and it's very bright. So that's it. I mean, really, for customization, you can do other timing with the lights, like when they turn off, stuff like that. That's a wrap on the inside. So let's start driving the Crown sedan at night to talk about its lighting performance and its, I guess you could say, its performance. Oh, and I forgot to mention there's this nice little light bar up here for the lights, which is kind of cool. But let's go ahead and turn that off. Let's turn the drag meter on. I wanted to address one of the concerns one of the viewers had on my normal review. He's like, hey, do 0 to 60 without brake boosts and with brake boost. I think I did it with brake boost the first time, or without. I don't really, it's one or the other. On real world, brake boost is not very realistic unless you're, I don't know, racing someone, or you're at a drag strip or something. Now, this has adaptive dampers in it. I'm in Sport Plus mode, so the transmission's more aggressive, the throttle's more aggressive, the suspension stiffens up, the steering stiffens up, which I quite like. But honestly, this is a luxury vehicle with kind of an old school smoothness to it. So I kind of drive it like an old Lexus. I put it into comfort mode and just enjoy the softer suspension and the more luxurious ride. Drag meter finally got the satellites. The brakes in here are not good. So we'll do brake boost to start. Whew. Okay, that's much quicker than I think I recorded last time. 0 to 60 in 5.51, and 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 5.9. But no one's brake boosting. a crown or crown signia on the road. So we're just going to put it into normal, or we'll keep it in Sport Plus, but we're just going to hammer off the line. I'm not going to brake boost. I'm just going to go straight from gas, or brake to gas, and go. Pretty similar of a launch, to be honest. Holy cow, yeah. There's no point in brake boosting this thing. I got a little bit faster just for, I don't know, bragging's sake with the brake boost. But here it was 5.680 to 60. And it even said I had a 3% slope. Okay, so Florida streets aren't just flat, they have slight slopes to channel water. So I had a 3% upward slope there, and it still said 0 to 60 and 5.68, 0 to 100 kilometers per hour and 6.08. So there's no point brake boosting this thing, as I just found out. The engine doesn't spool up that hard when you brake boost it, or torque brake it, whatever you want to call. All right, so let's put it back into my favorite mode, comfort mode. Oh, and get into the brakes. The brakes it reminds me of my Honda Grom. I'm too heavy for the Honda Grom, and so when I get onto the brakes, like, there's just not enough brake feel or feedback or braking power to bring the vehicle to the stop. Now, the brakes here are fine. It's just the feedback you get from it is not very confidence inspiring. Okay, the steering wheel's too hot for me at this point. I'm getting too warm. The heat in here is crazy good, but it's only 62 degrees out, but that's cold for Florida, you guys know. Yeah, the brake feel in here is the vehicle feels like it weighs 5,000 to 6,000 pounds. That's not that far off. I know this vehicle weighs over 4,300 pounds, something like that. And despite that, it does handle quite well for its weight. But when you really push it hard in the turns, which I hardly do since there are hardly any turns in Florida, but you do feel its weight and its front wheel drive bias. Even though we have the E-axle in the back, you can still tell most of the weight feels pretty front heavy. Now, I'll have to find, like, I have a hybrid battery, the nickel metal hydride batteries under the rear seat. It still feels front wheel drive biased, okay, obviously. So you have about 400 pound-feet of torque, and I would say 3/4 of that comes to the front wheels, where maybe just around 100 pound-feet of torque goes to the rear wheels. All right, so during the 0 to 60, you're gonna chirp the front tires. All right, I've done 0 to 60 3 or 4 times in this. The front tires lose traction just a little bit every single time. Let's talk about the lighting performance, and this is similar to Lexus models with the triple beams. They have a really hard cutoff, and the cutoff is about, I don't know, 80 to 100 yards in front of me, and you're gonna start seeing on the camera now. There's just a hard cutoff where the lights end. All right, and it's not a nice gradient. The lights don't shine very far in front of me. You have to use your brights, and then you get a great throw, an insane throw. It goes super high, 20 feet into the trees with that high beam. Your nearsighted lighting is also way brighter with your high beams too. Now, I will say, your brights don't do much out to the side. All right, well, that makes sense because your high beam was located right in the middle of the 4 beams, right? You have the triple beam for the low beams and the 4th beam for the high beam, and it just doesn't spread the lights very wide. It's mainly a high beam straight up in front of you. So the lights here, they look cool on the outside. They look premium, they look Lexus-like, but I think performance-wise, the base lights on the XLE might actually perform better. Now, I could get under the hood and probably adjust the height of these lights. Then I might run into the the situation where I could be blinding oncoming traffic. All right, I'm talking about the low beams. All right, so these lights, I'd give them like a C. They're not very good. I'm not impressed by them. I've been in much cheaper cars that have cheaper headlights, simpler headlights that perform a lot better. So if you're worried about getting the XLE because it doesn't have the fancier lights, I think you're going to be fine. They're going to probably perform better than these. Oh, I just noted my cup holder is also illuminated. That is handy. Obviously, I couldn't see that when the cup was in it. So this week I've had a $118,000 Land Rover Defender 90 with a supercharged 5-liter V8. And that thing's an absolute hoot to drive. But I've been driving this more. Obviously, I do fuel economy tests, so I have to pile in the miles. But honestly, when it's a 50-50 choice, I've been choosing the Crown, even though it costs less than half. Why am I choosing the Crown over that cool Defender? Well, I don't know. The Defender to me is like an attention machine, and then the V8's always like urging me to go hard, and like this is just a more relaxing vehicle. And most of the time I just want to relax when I'm in a car. So there you have it. I prefer to be in this vehicle over the Defender 90 that costs over twice as much as this. All right, apples to oranges, of course. I'm just saying, like, I like hybrids. They're engaging for me to drive. They're smooth. They're relaxing. When I get in here, I don't have to think very much, unless I really want to game the fuel economy. But it's just a really comfortable, relaxing drive. Even though this vehicle's unique, I don't feel like I stand out like a sore thumb like I do in a 90 series Defender. I think I just lost my voice, so we're going to just shut it down here. Thank you guys for watching. When I get the Crown Signia in for long-term review, like a week-long review, not that long-term, but when I get the Crown Signia in, maybe I'll do another night review if you guys want to see it. But yeah, I just lost my voice, so I'm shutting it down. Thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.